Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man Alone Against the Aliens 50th Fantastic Issue from 1981. Yes, I must say this comic is in pretty good condition, although I think I have a production error because as you can see it's here cut off. So I believe the cutter has, I don't know what happened, but not sure. But yeah, this is a cool issue. So I love Spider-Man in the 80s. It is one of my favorite eras with Spider-Man and all his crazy villains and his shenanigans. And also it brings back a, how do you say, a mechanism, if you will, or something that he uses a lot back in the day, but now not anymore, which is weird. And I'm going to tell you what I mean with that. So let's start with the opening, right? So we see here Spider-Man. He's battled the Smuggler. If I remember correctly, the Smuggler is I believe Eric Jostin. Eric Jostin was once Power Man. Then Luke Cage took the name Power Man, and they have a fight with each other. And then Power Man, Luke Cage becomes Power Man, and Eric Jostin changed his names to the Smuggler, which is a lame name. Then, after that, he became Goliath. Is it Goliath or Giant Man? Goliath, I believe. I believe Giant Man is Hank Pym, and then also Hawkeye. If I remember correctly, I believe it's called Goliath. And after that, he became the hero called Atlas from the Thunderbolts. So, in this period here, he has the ionic powers, just like Wonder Man. I mean, he probably has it, but it hasn't been established that he has ionic powers. He's just very, very strong and durable. So basically they had a fight. Spider-Man won. But he cannot put him down, because if he put him down, the smugglers try to kick his ass again. So he takes a smuggler away, and then there are some goons waiting for them, and he's fighting them with ease, and he uses Eric Jostin as a, I don't know, baseball bat or something, which is really cool. Oh, by the way, before I forget, this is made by Roger Stern as the writer and John Romita Jr. and Jim Mooney as artists. Pretty cool. So what happens next? So this part here is very interesting for me, because modern comics, and I almost forgot it as well, that Spider-Man uses web fluid cartridges to, doing the web thing. And we don't see that anymore in comics at all. He just, swinging from left to right. And I can't remember that he ever changed web cartridges, or that he has problem with that. Maybe he has now different technology, because I'm not sure, because I don't buy Marvel comics anymore since the last 9 years. So maybe he has new technology that he doesn't use it anymore, which is a shame, because one of my fondest memories of Spider-Man comics that he is, running out of cartridges, and then he has to battle villains or help people without, his web fluid. That is very integral to him being Spider-Man. And I love that, because you have to be more, innovative to help people and battling villains. And it seems that this cartridge is the only one that he has. So he uses that to pin down the evil guys, the bad guys, and also Eric Jostin here. So he uses his cartridges, his only web. But then, this is the cool part. It seems that the first batch of his webbing, which he made himself, was a unstable one. So that means that the webbing here is bad or not good at all, and he is, it's easily broken, because normally if he webs people, it's, they cannot move at all, because they are sticking to them. So it's very strong, and in this case not. Smuggler is almost loose again, and he's battling, but they are on train tracks. So what happens? Spider-Man, kicks him over, and Eric Jostin lands on the third rail, getting electrocuted. and Spider-Man uses his fluid again to pull him away from the tracks. And like I said, I love the quote unquote vulnerability that he has, that he's dependent on all these webbing that he needs to carry around with him to swing from building to building, webbing up bad guys and use for other means. And like I said, Marvel Comics doesn't do that anymore, and I'm not sure why. It's I don't know. It sucks. It's looks visual cool. It adds some kind of extra layer when it comes to storytelling. Yeah. Well, Marvel sucks nowadays, but that's not a really surprise coming from me. So skipping a few beats. So then there's some train track employees or something. How do you say that? Called the police, and Spider-Man says, "Okay, he's unconscious. The cops can drag him away." So that part is over. So he comes home, and by the way, this is the Peter Parker that I remember. This is how I envision him to look like. By the way, it seems that Aunt May has a new boyfriend, and she asked Peter to bring on a date, and he almost forgot that. So he calls Deborah Witt, and Deborah Witt, is an old flame, I guess. They don't have some kind of relationship with each other very briefly, if I remember correctly. And she's very timid, and she's a very nice woman, nice girl. What happened to her, by the way? It's also... I don't like it when all these characters are being written off, and it's too bad. I wonder what's happened with her through the years. But hey, that's here nor there. So she said yes because she likes Peter very much, but she's a very timid girl, and she doesn't speak much up. But she observes. She's a good observation. How do you say that? Well, she figures things out. Let's leave it at that. Observationist. That's probably the wrong word. Don't mind me, I'm rambling again, as usual. So he brings Deborah to Aunt May, and he is introduced to her new flame, her new boyfriend. It's called Mr. Lubinsky, and Nathan. And Nathan is, as you can see, is in a wheelchair, and they go into a restaurant, right? And they are talking to each other, and then Peter has... I don't know, he feels a little bit weird, because it seems weird to him that this Aunt May is falling in love with another man besides Ben, Uncle Ben, because Uncle Ben was basically his father figure, and now she is, dating another man, and Peter is bothered by that. And then we see a flashback about, where it all begins, and we've seen this flashback many times before. And I notice now it's a little bit weird, but I think Uncle Ben looks a little bit like Jack Kirby. But hey, that could be me, right? I love his Peter Parker's origin story, and how he became Spider-Man, and how Uncle Ben died. But yeah, it's been told many times. So, but then there's something strange happening. It seems that there is no one in the restaurant, and then somehow these people are coming towards Peter, and Peter's noticed it, that something is loose around the neck, and he exposed them that, well, basically they are aliens. And Peter is, kicking their asses somewhat, but he cannot use his, spider strength. So Nathan also jumps in, but he gets his ass kicked. And then Peter asks Nathan, "Hey, put down the lights." And then, okay, he does that. So there's a light switch. And Peter kicks everybody's ass, because then he can use his superpowers. But then one of the aliens says, "Hey, you need to stop, otherwise I'm going to shoot your aunt and that old guy and then Deborah." And it seems somehow that they are interested in a guy into the secret of Dutch Malone. And who's Dutch Malone? Dutch Malone is a gangster, and he was the owner of the house that May is living in now. And there is some treasure there, but the treasure is already gone. But these alien creatures don't know that. So, but Peter Parker leads them a little bit on, and he says, "Hey, I know where to get the loot. So you need to release, you know, his aunt and Nathan and Deborah." So aliens agree with that, and then basically Peter is surprised that he's not being zapped with ray guns, but with bolos coming from that weapon. So there's some fishy going on here, and I believe you know what's going on, but hey, I'm not going to tell. And then they are leaving with the ship, and it reveals that the bad guy, the main bad guy, the mastermind, quote unquote, is none other than Mysterio. And I must say, I love Mysterio. He's one of the coolest characters in the Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery. But he's now I don't know. He is just. I like all old villains from Spider-Man from the 80s, except for a couple of few like Dr. Octopus and maybe the Green Goblin. All of his Rogue Gallery are basically weak, ineffective villains that's been kicked around by little girls, or rookies, superheroes. I mean, those villains gave Spider-Man a run for the money one time, like Electro and Chameleon. Well, he's not really strong, but he's very cunning. Kraven the Hunter. And now they've been all reduced to second-hand, third-hand raids, villains, if you can call them that. Like just even the Vulture. It was at one point very. Peter has a hard time beating him, but he always came back, and then with new, how do you say, new tricks up on his sleeve. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. And Mysterio also. I love Mysterio, but yeah, he's being a pussy now. So yeah, he is now doing stuff with Mary Jane, and he is now also a good guy. Oh man, what is it with Marvel turning all these evil guys into good guys? I don't get it. And then we see another cool superhero, and I like this superhero, although this is Hector Ayala. He is the White Tiger. The White Tiger is superhuman. He has some amulets on his neck, and it gives him superpowers, and he has also some kind of connection with a white tiger creature or something like that. He died, unfortunately. He's been murdered, I believe, and then a girl took over the mantle, and she's boring, just like every Marvel character nowadays that they are new Marvel characters. Although she has been around for a while, but they did nothing significant with her. I mean, the 80s was more gritty and more fun to read instead of all the hey, selfie time, girl power, let's go shopping and talk about lesbians, etc. I'm making stuff up. Well, not really. It's true. Oh man, Marvel sucks so hard right now. Anyway, brings us to the end of the video. This is a great comic, like all 80s comics. Well, mostly are, but I recommend this. If you can get this book, get it. It's fun. Yeah, that's it. See you next time, guys. Have a nice day.